Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the mountains and the forest, there lived a young girl named Red Riding Hood. She was called so because of the beautiful red hooded cloak she wore, gifted to her by her dear grandmother. This is the story of Red Riding Hood's adventure in the woods. One sunny morning, Red Riding Hood's mother asked her to take a basket of food and medicine to her sick grandmother, who lived in a cottage on the other side of the woods.
Red Riding Hood, Grandma isn't feeling well. Can you please take her this basket of food and medicine?
Of course, Mom. I'll go right away.
Red Riding Hood happily set off on her journey, ready to help her dear grandmother. Red Riding Hood walked along the forest path, admiring the beauty of her surroundings and humming a cheerful tune.
The woods are so lovely today.
As she ventured deeper into the forest, Red Riding Hood paused for a moment to drink some water from a crystal-clear stream. Suddenly, Red Riding Hood encountered a wolf. Though he seemed friendly, she knew she should be cautious.
Why, hello there, little girl. Where are you off to?
I'm taking this basket of food and medicine to my sick grandmother who lives in a cottage on the other side of the woods.
The cunning wolf hatched a plan to get both the food in the basket and the little girl.
That's a long journey. Why don't you pick some flowers for your grandmother to cheer her up? There's a beautiful meadow nearby.
That's a wonderful idea. Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
Trusting the wolf's advice, Red Riding Hood ventured into the meadow to pick flowers for her grandmother, unaware of the wolf's true intentions. As Red Riding Hood picked flowers, the wolf took advantage of the situation and hurried to Grandma's house. When the wolf arrived at Grandma's house, he knocked on the door, pretending to be Red Riding Hood.
Grandma, it's me, Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some food and medicine.
The unsuspecting grandmother let the wolf in, only to be swallowed whole by the cunning creature. The wolf then disguised himself in her nightgown and cap, waiting for Red Riding Hood's arrival. After collecting a beautiful bouquet of flowers, Red Riding Hood arrived at her grandmother's house. She knocked on the door, feeling that something wasn't quite right.
Grandma, is that you?
Red Riding Hood entered the bedroom and saw her grandmother lying in bed. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was off.
Grandma, what big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
Red Riding Hood finally noticed her grandmother's big teeth and knew that something was terribly wrong.
Grandma, what big teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with, my dear.
As the wolf lunged at Red Riding Hood, a brave woodsman who had been passing by the cottage burst through the door. To their amazement, the woodsman cut open the wolf's stomach, and Grandma emerged unharmed. They were all grateful for the woodsman's timely intervention. Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and the woodsman discussed the importance of being cautious around strangers and the dangers of straying from the path.
We must always be careful around strangers, dear, and remember to stay on the path.
With newfound wisdom and a sense of security, Red Riding Hood and her grandmother thanked the woodsman for his help and promised to be more careful in the future. As Red Riding Hood prepared to leave her grandmother's house, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and responsibility. She knew that she must always be cautious and listen to her mother's advice.
Thank you for saving us, Mr. Woodsman. I've learned my lesson and will be more careful from now on.
With the memory of her adventure fresh in her mind, Red Riding Hood made her way back home, grateful for her safety and the valuable lessons she had learned.